Hello everyone, welcome to this live session. Hello guys, hello everyone. So those who have joined, let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes. So those who have already joined or joining can see the question on the screen and just reply in yes or no that the question is, can a for loop in Python iterate over a string? Hello everyone, hello. Okay, so yes, I can see multiple yes. So yes is the correct answer. That yes, the for loop can iterate over a string. Okay, guys, your next question is it mandatory to use a loop counter in a for loop? I repeat the question, is it mandatory to use a loop counter in a for loop? Okay, I can see yes and no both. Okay, Karthik Sundaram, great session. Yes, bro. Okay, so the answer for this question is basically no. In a for loop, it's not mandatory to use a loop counter, but you can use it also. But the question was that is it mandatory? So no, it's not mandatory. So those who was saying yes, that is not correct. No. Okay. Okay, guys. The next question is, does a while loop run only once by default? Yes or no? Okay, I can see there is no, yes. So those who are saying no, it's correct. While loop, by default, the while loop does not runs. Okay, if the condition is incorrect, so it will not run. So there is no chance of getting executed at once also. Okay, or once also. So the answer will be no. Okay, guys. Now I'll do what? I'll just give you a code snippet, and you guys have to tell me. Okay, so you code snippet it like this. So this is your code, guys. And let me just remove this only. Yeah, so this is your code. Now, guys, tell me, uh, will the following code will result in an infinite loop? Yes or no? Means when we'll execute this code, so will it went on an infinite loop? Will it go on an infinite loop? Yes or no? Okay, there are multiple yes. Anyone else want to try? So those who are saying yes, it's correct. Okay. So this code is always it's going to be true only because by default we have taken a true value. Okay. So it is always true and all the time high is going to be printed. Okay. Now guys, your next question is the break statement used to skip the current iteration of a loop? Yeah. No. So basically, no. Break is not used to skip the current iteration. There is something else. Okay. Some other statement which is used. I'll not I'm going to tell you that statement name because maybe uh, there could be one more question about related to that. Okay. Okay, guys. The next question is, can a for loop iterate over a list in reverse using slicing? So using for loop, can we iterate over a list in reverse using slicing? Can we do that? Is it possible? Yes or no? Okay, so as I can see, there are two yes. So yes, those who are saying yes, it is correct. Okay, that yes, the for loop can iterate over a list in reverse using slicing. Okay, yeah. Guys, your next question is, does the range function, okay, does the range 5 generate the numbers 0 to 5 inclusive? Yes or no? Okay, no, yes. So no is the correct option, that it is going to generate numbers from 0 to 4 exclusive. Okay, so no is the correct. Okay, guys, the next question is continue used to exit a loop entirely? Yes, no, yeah, obviously, no. So those who are saying no, it's correct, because break is the statement which is used to exit the loop entirely, and continue is the statement which is used to skip a current iteration. Okay. Okay, guys, the next and last question for the revision purpose is, can you nest a loop inside another loop in Python? So basically question means that nested loops are allowed in Python or not, or it is possible in Pythons or not. Yes or no? Okay, I can see there is one no. Okay, then one is saying possible. Okay, okay, one is saying don't know. It's okay, guys. See, nested loops are possible. Yes, it is allowed in Python. Then we can create a loop, and then we can create one child loop inside the parent loop. So that is possible in Python. Okay. So yeah, that is there. So yes, possible. These are the correct options. Okay. Okay. One is saying, sir, please start with the basics of it. Okay. So these were some of the questions. I hope uh, it will freshen up your minds, because today what we are going to do, we'll start with the very basics of loops. We'll see how to create a while loop, how to create a for loop, and how we can use the conditions inside them. Okay, and then we'll start solving problems. Okay, multiple problems based on real life use cases. Okay, easy to advanced types questions. Okay, so stay tuned up, guys, and make sure to just watch the live session, okay, throughout the duration, because today it will be very interactive, and I can assure you that if you'll watch the whole live session on this Python loops, so your whole while loop and for loop confusion will be cleared. Okay, and we'll see multiple different types of questions. So with that also you will get an idea that whenever you will get a situation or in programming to use the loops, okay, so you will have an idea that how you have to use it. Okay, for every type of solutions, or for every type of problems you will have a solution. Okay. Okay, Hussein, I say saying today join your class from Sri Lanka. Thank you, bro. I hope you like the session and you learn something. Okay. So yeah. Okay, guys. So now, let's start the class. Okay. So we'll start the class with Python loops, okay. Now, the main question is what is loop and why loops are so much necessary in any programming language. Okay. So for this question, the answer will be okay, that what is a loop in programming? So a loop is a programming structure that repeats a block of code as long as the specified condition is true. Okay. Now I'm talking about in general about loops. Okay. In any programming language, not about specific Python, in any programming language. Okay. I'm going with the very basics. Yes, loops are important for very repetitive tasks. Yes. So as long as your condition is true, okay, so the block of code which you have written inside any loop that will be executed, okay. Now, why are loops so important in programming? Because they are means loops are the fundamental to almost every problem you will ever write, okay. Because suppose if you have to write or print hello, okay, three times, so that you can do by this technique also. Okay, and then more two times you can use the print function, or you can do what, you can copy this line of code and then paste it also. This thing also you can do. So this will be also done how, this copy paste will also take time, okay, and then you can perform like this. But the more innovative way is that it's not necessary, that always you will need to print hello three times only. You some of there will be some situations where you have to print it for five times, six times, 10 times. Means just take this hello as a specific task. Okay, here I'm taking the example of hello because it is a small task to do. Okay, using Python, using print function. But think of it like or a specific task you are doing in any programming language, okay? Or let's consider Python only because we are specific to Python. So let's talk about Python only. So if you talk about Python, so in Python, if you have a specific block of code that you have to repeat again and again, so whether you are going to write the code again and again, no. Whether you're going to once write the code and then copy the code and then paste the code, no. That will be more convenient, but it will also going to take time, each time selecting the particular set of codes and then copying it and then pasting it at some other place, that will also going to take time. So if you have to repeat a particular set of block of codes, so then we can easily use loops. Okay, so because of this, loops are very important because it reduces the repetition. Okay, so for simple this task, what we can do, we can just simply write for I in range. Okay, okay, and it will do what, it will print hello three times. Okay, same task we are doing using three print functions, same task we are doing using loops and one print function. So this is the use of loops, that it reduces the repetitions. Okay, then uh, if we'll talk about Python, then there are more uses of loops as it works with the collections also. Okay, so how it works with the collection, it means suppose in Python there are built-in data structures also which are by default present in Python, or there are some user-defined built-in data structure also. So user-defined built-in data structures like arrays. Okay, arrays are also provided by NumPy. You can create your own stack, queue. These things you can create by your own. And then there are list, set, dictionary, and tuple that are by default present in Python. Okay, so with dealing with this list, tuple, set, and dictionary, then also the loops are very much important. Okay. Now, in Python, the for loop is specially designed for that. Okay. So if I'll just give you a small example of, suppose, let's say I have a fruits list. Okay. So now you can see that how easily we just iterated over our collection that was a list. So it's become so much easy. And in Python, it is very much easy because for working with the collections, we have a specially designed for loop with us, okay, that we can use. Then one more use case of this loops are that it automate our tasks. For example, if we want to check 1,000 records, okay, and we have to send 50 emails or process all files in a folder. So then loop will be means when we'll use loops, so the loops will make this possible with just a few lines of code. Okay. Now, another use cases of loops are that it is dynamic execution based. Okay. It means that based on the conditions, we can use it. Okay. So it becomes whenever we have a specific condition to check, just like in while loop, when we are using while loop, so we can give our own conditions. So it becomes a dynamic execution based. Okay. Because we are checking over a condition and then based on that condition, we are performing our task repetitively. So that becomes very much easy, convenient programming, okay? And overall, it just improves the efficiency of our code writing, okay? Then to maintain the code, okay? Code becomes much shorter when we use loops. So when the code, the whole program, okay, becomes shorter, the code for executing a program, for solving a problem, when it becomes shorter, so it becomes easier to maintain, okay? Then it also avoids, I have told you that we have to do copy paste, so it also avoid the copy paste errors. Sometimes it happens that you have copied the different thing or some extra character has been copied, so it will give you an error obviously. So it avoids that also. Then it becomes easier to debug also, okay? So those who are developers, they will know that how much debugging is important when we'll talk about software development. So for debugging also it becomes easy when we are using the loops, okay? So these are some things which are very much important. And if I'll tell you a real life analogy, so you can imagine, uh if you can imagine telling a kid that eat one spoon of food and repeat until the plate is empty, okay? So that is also there. So loops are exactly that only. So it is going to repetitively, uh we are going to eat from the plate until the plate is not going to be empty, okay? So that type of condition we can put inside a loop. So that is the thing. Now with python, python supports two types of loops here, okay? That is one is the while loops, okay, and second one is for loops. Now for the for loops, I've already told you. Now for the for loop, I have already told that for loops are especially designed for the data structures, okay, in Python. So yeah, okay. Can you please teach data structure class tomorrow, sir? Okay, okay, let's see. So now let's just start with the while loop, okay, and then we'll go with the for loop. So we'll see everything in while loop, what we can do, what we cannot do, okay, what are the things which we have to take in consideration when we are using while loop, okay. Then we'll go with the for loop, and then we'll solve some questions, okay. Now, guys, the while loop. So main thing about the while loop is that I must write also here that you guys should also read it one time so that it will be clear to you guys. See. Whenever you are using a while loop, so main thing about while loop is that the while loop, okay, the while loop we can execute a set of statement as long as a condition is true. Okay, okay, as long as a condition is true. Okay, guys. So this is the very important thing about the while loop. Okay, you can call it as a definition of while loop also. Okay, that while loop will only execute a set of statement, or you can change the set of statement as block of codes also, as long as the condition is true. Okay, that is the thing with the while loop that we have to just follow up. Then there are three more things to uh, take in consideration when we are using a while loop. Okay, and that is, for that I need to take an example. So I'll just take an simple example to generate uh, numbers from 1 to 5. Okay, so I'm going to generate numbers or print numbers from 1 to 5 using while loop. So let's see that. Now I know it's very easy, most of you will just easily do it, but these are the very basics thing which many of us, we just know the syntax, but we don't know these things. That we just know that this is there, but why this is there, that no one asks, no one will tell you. Okay, so here we go. uh, let's execute it, and here is the output. Now here we have to consider three things. Okay, if we'll not consider those three things, so what is going to happen, either the loop will not start, or there are more chances that you will go on an infinite loop. Okay, an infinite loop means that it is a loop which is never going to end, and that loop will only stop when your memory stack is full. Okay, so it will be continuously generating values. Your values will be continuously get stored in the memory. Now it will only get stopped, either the system will crash then, or when the memory will be full, then it will say that out of memory, okay, stack error type of thing, and then it will be stopped. So that is the thing. Now the first thing is, which is called as initialization. Okay, first thing which is called as, which we have to take in consideration, is the initialization part. Second thing is the condition. Second thing is the condition, and the third and the outmost thing is incrementation. Now, why I'm not considering this part? Because this part is the block of code. Okay, so this block of code is a mandatory also, because this is the reason why we have to do it. Okay, we want to repetitively do or repetitively repeat this task, repeat this block of code again and again. So this is the mandatory part. Okay, this we have to put it only. Okay, but these are the things which we have to take in consideration, or else we'll go on an infinite loop. So we don't want to go on an infinite loop because we don't need it. Okay, and if we want an infinite loop also, so at some point we want to end it. Okay, suppose if you want a input from a user, okay, for some purpose. Okay, so you are asking the input from the user again and again, but at some point, or there will be some way that you will exit from the loop. Okay, so that way could be that, let's type exit. So when you will type exit, it will end or it will get out of the while. Okay, so these are the things which we have to take in consideration. We'll see everything. Now there is initialization. Initialization means that first of all you have to give a initialize, means you have to initialize the loop variable with some value. Okay, so that the condition will do what, based on that loop variable, or based on that initialization, that condition will be checked again and again by the while loop. So first thing is the initialization, that is very important. Second thing is the condition. Okay, condition, we have to be very careful with the condition, because if the condition is not correct, then it might not start the loop, or it might go in an infinite loop. Let's say if I'll change this symbol to this symbol, okay, less than to greater than, then what is going to happen? Let's see. Now the condition previously was that if I is less than 6, then do this particular, execute this particular block of code. But when I change it to greater than, so now the condition is I is greater than 6. Now initial value of I is 1, that we have seen, that we can see it here, okay. Now if I value is 1, so 1 is never greater than 6, so this particular block of code is never going to be, okay, never going to be correct, because the condition will be false, so it is never going to be executed. So we don't want that. We want that our code should be executed. So because of that, this is also very important. So condition is also very important. We have to be very careful when we are putting the conditions. Then the third thing is the incrementation. Okay. Now, why the incrementation is important, I'll just tell you. But before that, you can see the output now. I'll just comment this line. Okay. I'll just comment the incrementation line, and now I'll execute this. Okay. Now you will see an output, okay, of ones, and this ones will be continuously, uh, as you can see, it is continuously generating. Here you can see the bar also. This bar is so much, okay, and it will be continuously generated. So that is the issue. Now we are on an infinite loop. Okay, I don't know where it is going to be. So I'll just, and now you will notice that my system has also started to work inappropriately, because it is using the memory so heavily, because continuously on memory it is forcing, uh, on memory it is continuously storing some values, okay, which are of course which are unnecessary. Now I need to fix it. Now you can clearly see that how dangerous this code can be, okay, that it just crashed everything, okay, and then after a reload we just came back to this. So we don't want to go on an infinite loop, it's not suggested, okay. And now you saw the real life demo also, okay. So yeah, because what happens, no, continuously means, you only just take a real life example. If you have something to do, okay, if there is some task that we have to do, okay, and someone, suppose we are working and our boss is continuously telling us to do this work again and again and again, okay, so there will be some pressure, okay, it will start building some pressure on us, okay, and then continuously giving pressure to anything, okay, any person, it will might uh, cause some serious issues. So that serious issues will take it consideration in programming. So that serious issues, what, you will go to an infinite loop, because the same pressure, when you are continuously storing or creating some value, so you are using the memory continuously. So you're putting the pressure on the memory. So what will happen? You have a limited stack of memory. Suppose if you have RAM, so RAM will be what? 8, 12, 16, 4, okay? So it will be full at some time, because it is not unlimited in nature, no? So that is there. So that's why these are the things which are very much important. So that's why using the loop, okay, so please be sure that don't go to an infinite loop. Now why we went to an infinite loop when we just commented this line, okay, or if this incrementation line is not there, so that I'll tell you, okay. See guys, let's talk about the internal part, that what is happening when we are with the while loop, okay, when we are using while loop. So when we are using while loop, first the I value is 1. So it is checking that if 1 is less than 6. So at first time, it is checking that 1 is less than 6. So condition becomes true that yes, 1 is less than 6. So 1 is will be printed. Now, if you'll not increment the value of I by 1 or by any value, it's not compulsory that you will increment by 1 only. You can increment by 2 also or some other value also. But we require, our problem was to just print 5 values. So because of that, want to increment it by 1. Okay. So yeah. So then the incrementation will do what? It will change or increase the value of I by 1. So now it will be 2. So 2 is less than 6, yes. Then again for it will be 3. 3 is less than 6, yes. 4 is less than 6, yes. 5 is less than 6, yes. Then at the end, when it will check for 5 and 5 will be printed, then I will be increased by 1 again. It will be 6 and 6 is not less than 6. Okay, because 6 is equal to 6. So then the condition will become false and the while loop will stop there. So at what point we have to stop the while loop, that very much depends on the incrementation part. Okay. And sometime it could be a decrementation part also. Means you can print, means you can create a while loop with decrementing values also. Suppose if you want to create a value from 5 to 1. So then you have to use the decrementation over here. So now I hope now you guys have a clear view on the while loop and how to use it and what are the necessary things which you have to take in consideration. Okay. And now guys, let's do what? Now let's use the break statement in the while loop and let's see how we can perform that. So for that, our problem is that uh, what we have to do, again, we'll do the same thing. We'll print numbers from 1 to 5, but this time we have a condition that when the number or when the I value will be 3, we want to exit from the loop. Okay, so this is our condition. So let's do that. Okay, then it's saying good explains. Thank you. Now I equals to 1 and everything will be same because we have to just do the same thing with a slight change. So we'll print I. Now, after when the I value is 3, we want to exit. So then we have to use a conditional statement over here. And if is fine, so we're going to use if. So if I is equals to 3, so we'll use the break. Okay. Now the use of this break statement is, and guys, don't forget to do the incrementation. Okay. Again, it's necessary to do the incrementation. Now you will see you will get only 1, 2, 3 because when the I value is 3, we are just exiting from the loop. So break statement is used to stop the loop even if the while condition is true. So even if the condition which is given in the while it is true, but then also if you want to exit when you have achieved a particular thing, so then you can give use a conditional statement like this and use the break statement. Okay, so this is the use of the break statement which is very useful because there will be some situations where the condition is going to be true every time, but if we press some string or if you write something, then we have to exit. So for that purpose, this is if the conditional statement is very much good. Okay, so I'll just write it over here. Break used to exit from a loop even if the while is true. Okay, so this was the use of the break statement. Now then there is one break statement and there is one more type of statement that is called as continue. So let's see the continue, how to use continue. So I'm just again going to take the same example. Okay, so I'll just copy this and I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, same problem. I want this time that I want to print numbers from 1 to 5. Okay, obviously, but this time I want that if if there is if the current iteration is 3, so I want to skip 3. I don't want to print 3. I just want that 1, 2, then 3 should be skipped and 4, 5 should get print. Okay. So then for that, what you can do, condition will be same. Only the statement will is going to change, and that will be from break to continue. So we will use continue. Now, again, you will go in an infinite loop. Now, this time, why we went on an infinite loop, that was the main important thing. Now, the placement of the incrementation also is very much important, okay? Let just this thing get fixed, okay? After that, tell you that now when we are using continue, so where to place the incrementation part, that is also very much important, okay? So now I just restarted the whole kernel. I'm using Jupyter Notebook. So in this, there is an option to just interrupt the terminal. So you can just directly interrupt the kernel. So this will do what? This will basically stop the program and it will be with the very basic. Okay. So yeah. Now, guys, let's analyze the code. Okay. Then it will be more clear. Okay. If you'll clearly see the code, we are starting with 1. Okay. That is clearly visible. Then we are doing what? We are checking, we have a condition with us that I is less than 6, and then we are printing I. Then we are checking that if I is equal to 3, then continue. And then after continue, after the condition, there is inside the condition, if the condition is true, there will be skipped, 3 will be skipped. And then there is incrementation part. Okay. So we have put the incrementation at the end. Now let's do what? Let's just talk about the code at each time what is happening. So initially the I value is 1. So first it will be checked for 1. So 1 is less than 6, obviously. So condition is true. So when condition is true, 1 will be printed. Then it will check for this condition that I is equal to 3. No, I is not equal to 3. So then the incrementation will happen. So incrementation will be what? Incrementation will be by 1. So now I is 2. Now again I will be checked for 2. So it will print 2, and now I will become, means then this condition will also be false. Now I will become 3. Okay, now I is 3. Now what will happen when it is 3? So it is going to print 3. So our first task was what? Means when I have said that we are going to use this same example, and I have said you the objective also, that this time we want the output like 1, 2, then 3 will be skipped, and 4, 5. So we don't want 3. But when we have run this code, so you will see that we were printing 3. So actually we don't have to print 3. Okay. So first objective what that we have to don't, means we don't want to print 3, but 3 was printed. So that objective was also cancelled, that we don't follow that objective. So first was that. And then why we went on an infinite loop, that is the very important thing, because when I is 3, so 3 got printed, then we check for the condition. Okay. Now the condition becomes true. So it does what? It just basically hits the continue. Okay. When the condition is true, it hits the continue. But because it is hitting the continue again and again, so it now skip this part. Okay. So it skips this I plus 1 equals 2, means I plus equals to 1. It skips this part. So loop becomes what? Now it's skipping this line. So loops starts again with I, and again it does what? It is again and still is equal to 3. Okay. So now every time the I is equal to 3 only. So because I is never getting incremented, so I is 3 all the time. So because of that, the condition is true all the time. So directly 1, 2 is okay, then 3, and then forever 3 will be printed. Okay. Because the incremented part that is skipped here. So we went on an infinite loop. But this time the infinite loop was ending with 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, not 1, 1, 1. Okay. Now, how to fix this? So this is incorrect. So let me write it over here so that people will know now. So what is the correct part? So the correct part is that I will be equals to 1. Someone in the chat also given the code. That is also correct. That incrementation will be at the first and then we'll print. Okay. So while I less than 6, okay, then there will be the incrementation part. Okay. Let's say plus equals to 1. And then there will be the checking part, that if it is equal to 3, then there will be continue, and in the end we are going to print the I. So this will ensure two things. First, let me, so this is going to ensure you this thing, but there is one more thing which we have to see here, okay, which we have to take in consideration, that the output is like this. We are not getting 1, okay, we are getting the value till 6, okay, and we are not getting 1. So if you want to print 1 also, then you have to start it with 0. Now why 1 is not there? For that also there is an there is the reasoning, or there is the logic. We have to check the logic now. Okay, if it is 1, so 1 is less than 6. Yes, 1 is less than 6. Condition is true. But before printing it, we are incrementing it. So now I becomes 2. It checks the condition. Okay, and then at the end, when the condition becomes false, so it prints I. So it prints I. So what happens when it prints I? So it basically prints 2 now, because 1 is incremented by 1, so it becomes 2. So we are never going to get 1 if you are initializing I with 1. So now in this types of situation, initialization also becomes very much important. Okay, when you will get this types of problem, this is one of a kind of problem. If you'll get this type of problem, so then the initialization also becomes very much important, because it is just not printing that starting value 1 that we want. So now we have to start it with 0 here. So then we'll let start with 1, 2, 3 will be skipped, 4, 5, and 6. Now why it is printing 6? So I think that is also understood, that when I value is 5, so 5 is less than 6, that is correct, but it is incremented by 1, so it becomes 6. So that's why 6 is getting printed, okay? So that is the thing. So this was continue, okay? So continue basically skips the current iteration. Now, there is one more thing, that is that we can use the else statement also with the while loop. Okay. Now, how this else will be used, that let's see that. So this else statement that we are going to use here, it will be run when the condition no longer is true. I mean, suppose if we have a while loop and that while loop condition becomes false, then the else will be executed, and the else will be executed only one time. So let's see the code first. Okay. Okay, so now you will see this type of output. So this else will execute only once, and it will execute after or when the condition will become false. Okay, so when the condition becomes false means I value is 6, so 6 is not less than 6, so condition is false, then this else will be executed. So I hope this is clear to you guys. Okay. Okay, that's good. So I hope everyone have a brief or full idea about the while loops in Python, okay? And whatever the confusion were, now it is solved. Now, if you guys have any confusion, any problem in the while loop, okay, so you can just ask me now. I'm just giving you 1 or 2 minute time. Just share your questions in the chat and I'll reply each of the questions and we'll see the questions and the explanation of that questions. Okay. Till then, let me write the next topic, that is for loop. Okay, very nice. We have two questions with us. We have two questions with us. And okay, Hussein is asking, Hussein question is that can you explain how to get sum from loop printing numbers? Okay. So actually, your question is, uh, okay, means I think that you want to say that how, if you want to print numbers, so how to do how to get the sum of that number. Suppose if you are printing numbers from 1 to 5, the how to sum all that numbers means 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 like this. Okay, I hope you are asking that only. Okay, so the code for that is, see, first of all, you have to just think of like that. That first of all, you want a normal loop because you have to print numbers from I means 1 to 5. So you will have a normal loop. So let's first get a normal loop. Okay. So I less than or less than equal to 5. Okay. You can take less than 6 also, or you can take less than equals to 5 also. That is also okay. Then print I. Okay. And do the incrementation part. Okay. So this is your normal loop for generating numbers from 1 to 5. Okay, that's fine. Now you want the sum of all the numbers. So for that you will need a variable called as total or called as total sum or called as sum. Whatever the name you want to take, that is upon you. And initialize it to 0 because that for now that total has nothing in it. So you will initialize it to 0. Then how to add values, okay, in this total, how I'm going to put 1, then the next value 2, then 3, then 4, and then at the end I want to put 5. And I want that this 1 2 3 4 5 which we are going to put inside total should be added. Okay, so what I can do, I'll take the, I have already created a global variable total. So on that variable, I'll just do plus equals I. Okay. And in the end, after coming out of the loop, I'll just print like this. Sum equals to total. So first it's printing the value also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in the end it's printing the total sum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 also, that is 15. Okay, so this is how you can do that. Okay, I hope now this is clear. Then one more person has asked, M. Varalakshmi has asked that, sir, how we know that where to use this while loop in problems? Okay, that is a very good question. That not only the while loop, okay, in the for loops also. See, uh, whenever, suppose the problem will be like this, that we would have a condition with us, means there will be not a fixed value, means in the problem there will be no fixed value mentioned, there will be a condition mentioned that you have to do this particular thing or repeat the particular block of code till the user not inputs exit. Okay, so these types of problems will be there with you where there is no specified value. Means suppose, let's say you have to, suppose there is a problem, you have to print hello 5 times. So now 5 times in the problem, 5 times is mentioned. So you can go with the for loop now, because the clearly it is mentioned that you have to print hello 5 times only, or you have to perform a specific time 6 times only. So there is a limit given to you that will be mentioned in the question, so then you can go with the for loop. But now when there is no limit, suppose now there is a problem such as that whatever the user inputs, print that until the user did not or didn't print exit, or don't print exits. Okay, so now in this condition, it is clearly not mentioned that how many times user is going to print some other values other than exit. It means it depends clearly on the user, that now the user can print one value and then print exit. Okay, or the user can print 5 values also. User can print 10, 20, 100, 1000. Okay, so user can now give whatever amount of values he or she wants. It depends on clearly on the user. But there is one thing given, that when the user prints exits, means when the user give the input exits, so then it will exit the loop. So when it is clearly not mentioned the time, that how many time you have to execute that particular task, then you can go with the while loop, because while loop is based on conditions. So you can use the while loop when it is clearly mentioned that this many amount of time you have to execute that particular task, then go with the for loop. Okay, so I hope that is also clear. So that was good questions. Now let's do what, uh, let's now move to the for loop. And anyone who, again, if you want to ask any questions, so the chat is open for everyone. You can just ask the question. I'll explain other topics, but when I'll explain it, I'll finish it, I'll just come to the chat and I'll see if anyone has any question. Okay, so let's continue here. So I hope, Varalakshmi, you got the explanation. Okay, now let's continue with the for loops. Okay, for loops in Python. So Python for loops. So a for loop is used for iterating over a sequence. Okay, yes, I've told in the starting also that for loops in Python are basically used for iterating over a sequence, and that sequence can be can be a list, can be a tuple, dictionary, set, or it can be a string also. Okay, so yeah, because the string is also a sequence of characters, so string is also a sequence only. So the for loop is used for iterating over a sequence. Now, if we'll talk about Python and other programming language, so there is a slight difference how we use, means in the syntax of for loop. In other programming language, the syntax for loop is like for, then a loop variable. We initialize the loop variable with 0. Then we give a condition that I is less than or equals to this 5, 6, 7, okay, or any variable, and then I plus plus. This is a for normal other programming languages. In Python, it is uh, more of a sequence type of, okay. So generally the for loop in Python focuses on the sequences, okay, like list, tuple, dictionary, set. So with the for loop, what we can do with the for loop in Python, we can execute a set of statements, okay, once for each item in a list, tuple, and set, okay, or other sequences also. Now it does not mean that we cannot do, uh, suppose we cannot create five numbers, five numbers, because it is over means we can generate it over a sequence only. It does not mean that. It means that we can perform that things also, but in a different way. Then we have to use, suppose if you have to generate five values, so let's say if you have to generate five numbers, so what, for I in range, okay, range 6, 1, 6, and print I. So using for loop also, you can achieve the things, you can do the things which you can do with the while loops, okay, but with the sequences only. So you have to use a function like range, okay, and there are many more functions. So now we have to be dependent on the built-in functions of Python. So Python has taken care of everything, okay. So there is nothing which we cannot do. Everything is possible. So now, there is a modification in for loop, especially in Python, because of the sequences. Because whenever we have to do, I'll show you the code. I'll show you the code for iterating over a sequence using a while loop and using a for loop, both. So then it will be clear for you guys. Now focus on the for loop. So this is the program to generate five values, okay, from 1 to 5 using the for loop, okay. So for I in range, okay, 1, 6. Now I hope you guys know why I have written 6, because 6 is exclusive in nature, because it is the end part. So it is going to print numbers till 5 only. And I'm just printing 5 inside the loop. So we are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now the next use of this for loop is that it just iterate over a sequence only. So that we have already seen. Let's see it one more time. So let's say I have a list of items, books, pens, whiteboards, okay. And now I have to iterate over each item in this item list, okay. So then how to use the for loop? It's very simple. For I in range, oh sorry, now this time we don't need range, because we have another iterable, that is a list, that is the items, and like this, okay. So for an I in items, print I, and so much simple also, okay. And it makes it so much simple to just iterate over each item in a list using this for loop, okay. Okay, so this is one thing. Now we'll see the variations in it, that this was using list. Now let's see looping through a string, okay. So for x in, let's take a string now. Let's take a string now. Let's print, okay. So you can loop through a iterable also. There is one question, okay. Hussein has asked one question, how to print the list in horizontal. Okay, okay. I guess that you want the output like this. Uh, Here books, pens, pencil, whiteboards are there. You want the output in this way, okay? Books, pens, and pencil. Okay, that is very simple. Then there is no need to do anything with the loops, okay? Then loops will don't play any role here. What you have to do, then you have to understand the print function, okay? Because in the print function there is one parameter, okay? I hope I think you guys don't know it. See, there is one parameter called as end, okay? And by default this end is backslash n, which means to generate a new line. What you have to do, you have to change it, okay? You have to change it. Okay, I have to do this in this. You want it in list, okay? So here, so by default you have to do like this. So by default it is backslash n. So backslash n means generating a new line. So by default it is that. So you don't need to change it. But if you want it in to change it, so you can use this n equals to, and then you can use the double quotes or single quotes and give a space between them. So it will do what? It will just performs like this. Then books, then there will be a space, then there will be the other item, then space, then other item, then space, then other item. So you will get in a horizontal format. Okay, if you will not give the space, so everything will be together. Okay, so if you want the space, so you have to give the space like this. If you want some other value inside, means between them, suppose now I have put there at the rate, so at the rate will be after each item. Books at the rate, then pens at the rate, pencil at the rate, whiteboard at the rate. So this is the end, use of the end. It is with the print function. Okay, so I hope you have understood. Okay, now, as you can see here, we have loop through a string also. Means how we have used a for loop with a string, because a string is also a sequence only. Okay. Then let's see the use of the break statement in for loop. Okay. So break in for, how it is used. So more of it is like same only, just like how we are using in while, we have to use it here. But I'll just give you an example, okay, and how we can use it. So I'll just take this example of items, and I'll remove this end, or you can keep this end also. It's upon you how you want your output, okay? So print I, and then what you can do, if I is equals to, okay, let's say pencils. So break then. So now you'll see book, pens, pencil, and after pencil, it will execute the loop. Okay. So this is how you can use a break statement. Now here you there could be two situations in this break statement also, guys. There could be two situations. One situation is that you want that pencil should be printed, then the loop should be exited. So then you can do what? You can put this print before the break statement. But there could be some situation like this, that when you found pencil, just exit it. Means don't go with pencil, don't print pencil, then exit it. So then what you can do, then it's very simple. You have to just placement of the print matters here. You have to print the print after the break. So it will check for book, it will check for pens. When it will check for pencils, it will break. So it will not print the pencils. Okay, so there could be multiple situations. So these were the two situations. The placement of print matters. Okay, so the placement of print also matters too much. uh, then again the same thing. Continue. Now let's check for continue. Let's check how to use continue in for. Now in continue, the placement of print will be after the continue statement only, because here what we are doing here, it is particularly seen that we don't want pencil. Okay, the pencil should be skipped only. So that's why it will first check and then it will skip. Okay, so the placement of print will be after, or the placement of your task which you want to or whatever operation you want to do with the items. So if you want to skip, so you have to put the task after the continue, after the continue statement. Okay, then again one more thing, then there is the else. Okay, the else loop. So yeah, let's check the else loop. So let's say if I want to create for I in range 6, so I want to generate numbers from 0 to 5. I want to print I. Let's see how to use the else. Okay, so same approach will be followed for else also. In this for loop also, this else will be execute only once, and it will execute only the last iteration is finished. Okay, so as you can see in this example, for I in range 6, print I, so 0 1 2 3 4 5, and after 5, now the loop iteration is finished, so then the else will be executed. Okay, there is one question that I can see over here. Bhaskar Reddy is asking the question that how to get max number from a list containing uh, few numbers without using any method. Okay, so same thing. What we have to do, uh, we have to basically suppose. Okay, let me just show you the code only, then it will be more clear. But we have to continuously do this. We have to continuously do comparison. Okay, so we'll initialize one value. Let's suppose we have a list with us. So let's take a list called as nums. 10, 25, any random value, 7, and 35, 48, 33, 33. Okay, so I think this much numbers are enough. Okay, then what we'll do, we'll first of all take a max number. Okay, and we'll initialize it with the num's first value. Okay, so whatever the num's first value is, that is stored in max underscore n, and we have considered the first number. Okay, means for now we are assuming that this first number which we have access, suppose 10. Okay, num 0 is what? At 0 position there is 10, so we have access 10, and we are assuming that the first number is the maximum number for now. Okay, then we'll do what? Then we'll start the loop. So for num in nums, okay, or more of a kind, what we can do like this. For num in nums, and we'll do slicing over here. We'll start it from 1. Okay, we'll start it from 1 because 0 we have already considered, so no need to take 0. 0 we have already considered as a maximum number. So now we'll start with the second position. So second position is 1. So we'll start with 1, and we'll leave this end part as blank because we want to go till the full whatever the list end value is till that, and then colon, and then we'll check. Okay, how we'll check? We'll check num, that if num is greater than max underscore n, our current maximum number, that is 10. So if the num is means the current value is greater than max equals to n, then do what? Then change the max underscore n. Okay, and then put the this num. If suppose if this num, let's take for this example only, initially this max underscore n is 10, Okay, we are starting our loop from 25. So first value is 25. So if 25 is greater than 10, so do what? In max underscore n, put 25. So now 25 is the greater value. Okay, then again 7 will be checked, 35 will be checked, 48 will be checked. Okay, 33 will be checked. Now 48, because it is the greatest, so 48 will be there. So at the end, the code is not finished yet. Now we have to print also. So max value is max value is max underscore n. Okay, sorry. Name num is not defined. Oh, I'm so my bad. It is nums over here. Yeah. Okay. So max value is 48. So continuously, basically, if is continuously checking over uh, rest of the values, and based on that, we are just replacing the values. Okay, we're just putting the values, or if the condition is false, then we are again going with the next value, and then we are doing the thing. So I hope Bhaskar, you have get your solution. It's okay, and it's very easy also. Now, again, Hussein is asking how to print odd numbers from range. Okay, again, it is very easy. Okay, guys, don't ask questions, because after the explanation part of while and for loop, I have prepared so many questions, and we are going to see all the solve all the different types of questions. So we I have put these types of questions, okay, in that. But okay, if you have asked, I'll show you that how to print the odd numbers. But there are so many questions I have prepared, and we are going to solve in this live session only. So I just want that if anything logic questions that you find out difficult to understand in for and while loop, that type of question, if you want to ask, you can ask. Okay. Other than that, if you want to ask some programmatical question to create a program, so let's do what I have also collections of many programs. So we'll see all everything. And after the class, if your question was not solved or was not present in my questions, so then in the end you can ask me. Okay. So we'll solve that also. If any logical questions which you find it difficult to understand the loops in Python, if that type of questions is there, so you can ask now. Now, how to print odd numbers? Okay, for I in range 1, okay, till 1 to 30, and let's take a step of 2. Let's print I, okay, let's see the output. Okay. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, and 29. Okay. So this is the simple code to get uh, the odd numbers using the range function. Okay. You want me to explain this range function, guys? Just let me know if anyone don't know about the range function or want me to explain the range function. Okay. No questions. Hmm. Okay. See. Let's see the range function. Okay. So first of all, let's see the range function. Okay. So let's say this is the range function because people are saying that yes, let me explain the range function. So guys, first of all, the range function, let's see the range function's syntax. Okay. So this is your range function and this is the values which we put inside the range function. Okay. Let's say first you have to use the range method with parentheses and three parameters this range function takes. That is, first you take the start, the beginning part, where to start the sequence of numbers from. Okay. Then the stop part, where to end, that sequence. Okay. And then there is a step. A step means basically that after how many steps you want to print the next value. Okay, that is the steps. Using this step only, we can print sequence of odd numbers and sequence of even numbers. Okay, or multiples of 2, multiples of 3, like this. You can print it. Now, let's say uh, if we want to print for I in, so I hope this syntax is clear. Okay, now let me just give you a for I in range. And now I'll show you that how I'll print numbers from 1 to 10. Okay. So first the starting part. I by default this range function starts from 0. Okay. So by default it starts from 0. So if I'll write over here 10. Okay. Like this. And if I'll print I like this. So I'll get numbers from 0 to 9. So by default, if we'll give only single value, so it is the ending, it will be considered as the stop part, okay? The ending part. So ending part is 10. So if you'll notice, it is by default starting from 0. So yeah, 0, then 0, and it is going till 9 only. Okay, it is going till 9 only. So why it is going till 9? Because now here comes the main part, that the starting part, okay? The starting part is the starting part is inclusive, inclusive in nature, okay? And the stop part is exclusive in nature. It means inclusive means whatever the value we write. Suppose we have written 1. So 1 will do what? It will start from 1. So 1 is included, okay? But if we'll write 10, for suppose in this example, I have written 10 here. So it is the stop part. So stop part is exclusive in nature, means 10 will be not included. It means it will print the values till 9 only, not 10. So that is the thing over here. So stop part is exclusive, start part is inclusive. So if you have to print values till 10, so you have to write here 11 or 10 plus 1. So you can write 11 also, then also it will print till 10. Or what you can do, you can do 10 plus 1. So then also it will print till 10. So same thing, 10 plus 1, it will be 11 only. So directly write 11, one greater value. So remember, you have to write one greater value. Now, a starting part is always inclusive. So if you start from 1, so 1, and it will print till 9. If you want to print till 10, so you have to write 11 there. Now, the main important part is the step, how the step works, okay? Suppose if you want to print till 10 and you want all the odd values, okay? So let's give 2 here, okay? Now, understand the analogy, guys, okay? What is happening in the background in the range function? Let's see that. First of all, it is going to start from 1, okay? 1 is there. Then it has to go till 10. That is clear because we have put the value 11 over there. But by in extra we have given the step with 0, step with 2. Okay, now by default the step is also 1. Step is basically, you can say, incrementation also. Okay, so incrementation is by default set to 1. So if you'll not give step, so by default it will take 1. That's why whenever we just write 1 comma 11, so it print value like 1 2 3 4, because by default the step is set to 1. But if you'll change the step to 2 or 2 3, then what will happen, I'll explain you. See, first value is 1. Then if you increasing the step by 2. So now, so let me first create like this: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. These are the values. Okay, now initial value is 1, that is printed. Then the step is 2. So 2 means that one step from 2 is one step, and then 2 from 2 to 3 is the second step. So it is skip the first step, it will directly jump to the second step. Okay, that means the step. So from 1, the first step is to go till 2, and from 2, the second step is go till 3. Okay, so second step will be printed. So from 1, what is the second step? 3 is the second step. So 3 is printed. From 3, what is the second step? So from 3, the first step is 4, and second step is 5. So 5 is printed over here. From 5, what is the second step? So first step is 6 and second step is 7. So 7 is printed. From 7, what is the second step? So 9 is the second step. So 9 is printed. And after 9, there is only 10. Okay. So because of that, 10 is not printed, and our range of sequence is still 10 only. So loops end there only. Okay. If you want even values, now remember this: if you want even values, so you have to start it from 0. When you will start it from 0, then you will get it like this. Or you have to start it from 2. Means you have to start from an even value. So 0 is not a odd, not a even value, but if you'll add 2 on, means on 0, if you'll add 2, so it will give you a even value only. It is going to give you 2. And then in 2, if you'll add 2, then it is going to give you uh, even value. So you can start with 2, or you can start with 0. If you don't want to include 0, so you can start with 2. So now you will print all the even values: 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Same approach is followed here also. It is by default. This range function is by default starting from 2. So first 2 will be printed. From 2, the second step is 4. So 4 will be printed. From 4, the second step is 6. 6. Then second step is 8. And then the second step is 10. Okay. So I hope the range function explanation is clear, and how to print. Someone was asking, Kamiza Nicola was saying that yes, please, and can you do same thing for the even number? So that is also clear. Okay. Now, one Bhaskar was asking that what is the difference between the for loop and while loop? Now, in Python, there is a difference. The for loop in Python uh, is specifically created or specifically modified uh, for the data structures, for the sequences, okay, for iterating over the sequences in Python. And the while loop is the normal while loop, how it is present in other programming language. It's just like that. So if you want to iterate over the sequences, then you can use the for loop. Okay, and you have seen also that how easily you can generate numbers, and how easily you can iterate over the sequences. Okay, there is one more question from Abdul Rahman. How to print tables? Yeah, I'm going to show you that how to print the tables. Okay, first let's understand this thing. Okay, then I have also prepared some questions. Based on the questions, I think I have this question also, that how to print the tables. Okay, so stay tuned up, Rahman. Uh, Make sure to watch the live session. We are going to solve that type of question also. Okay. Okay, at the end, I'll show you one more thing. Then we'll move to the solving problems. Okay, now I'll show you. I will take a list. Okay, so there is a list with me, that is items. So I'll take this list, and I'll iterate over both. I'll use both for loop also and while loop also to iterate over this list. Okay, so that it will be clear for you guys that we can do, means while loop can also do the work of for loop, and for loop can also do the work of while loop. But at some places, means there will be some situation that for loop is designed for that only. So in for loop, it will be more easy in comparison to while loop. Okay. So now, first of all, let's use the for loop and print I. So this is how you can use for loop to iterate over a sequence. Okay. Just two lines of code, for and print. Okay. Let's see the while loop, how to use the while loop to iterate over it. So before using the while loop, we have to first of all initialize the value. okay, which I have told you that this is very mandatory. So I equals to 0. Then I less than length function. Now we have to use the length function, okay. Then print items, and we have to access the I, the position, because whenever we are using the while loop, we are iterating over not the items, we are iterating over the numbers, okay. So this is the thing. So same thing with while loop, it takes 4 lines of code. With for loop, it just took 2 lines of code. So clearly there is a difference. And if there will be some other task to do, if there will be some other task also which we have to perform, so then again the while loop code will be increased by more numbers in comparison to the for loop. So that's why for loop is easy. So yeah, that is the thing. Okay, I hope guys now the for loop and while loop is cleared. Okay, so now we are moving ahead with solving problems. So I hope everything is okay. You guys have understood it. Okay. Now I have few, because this set is over, I have some quiz questions for you guys. Yes or no questions. So, okay. Let's quickly revise the session. Okay. So, guys, your question is, can you modify the list you are iterating over inside a for loop safely? Okay. Mark the word safely. Okay. So the question is, can you modify the list you are iterating over inside a for loop safely? Okay, so people are saying yes. Uh, can you modify the list you are iterating over inside a for loop safely? So people are saying yes. Okay. So I'll show you one example, okay, and then I want you guys to again answer this question, okay? So let's say, okay, Hussaini saying, sir, if possible, share your whole code in the command. Yeah, I'll share my code. That is not an issue, but I'll share you the file link only, okay, and you can download it from one place, okay? I'm just fixing this, that where should I share this, okay? I'll just upload it at one place and I'll give the link in the chat box at the end of the class, and then you guys can easily download it and use it. So that will be more better for you guys, okay? I'm just thinking on that. In previous live session also someone has asked that thing. So again, one person is saying safely as in if it's a global when it will be changed inside. Am I interpreting correct? Yeah, that is the thing. No, with the example which I'm taking here, from that it will be clear to all of us. Okay, so let me just show you guys. See, can we modify it? Okay, so modification means that we can remove an item also, we can add an item also. So that was the question, that can we modify the list which we are iterating over inside a for loop safely? So let's see. So we have a list called as items in which we have stored four items A, B, C, D. And now we'll start the loop. Okay, so for item in items, we'll print, uh, well, basically, we'll remove the items. Okay, so removing item and items dot, we'll use the remove method and item. So items dot remove item. Let's check. So removing A and C, and what will be with us? So let's print the items now. So now the items list is left with B and D. Okay. So clearly we can see that as you can see, we wanted to remove all the values. Okay. Clearly that we wanted to do here, but only A and C is removed. B and D are there still. Okay. Now what happened? Now I think that you guys now will we come to the conclusion. Now what happened here, that Python internally iterates over the list using the indexes. Okay, internally it uses the indexes only. So when you remove an item, so the indexes, suppose if the A is removed, so B will be what? B will be shifted at the first place, C will be shifted at the second place, and D will be shifted at the third place. Means B will be now at the zeroth position and C will be at the one position. Okay. So first if A is removed, so A was at the zero place. So zero removed, zero position removed. Then list shifted. So now B is at the zeroth position, C is at the first position, and D is at the second position. So now because C has come to the first position, and now the next term was for the first position, so C will be removed. So that's why B got left out. Okay. So B and D are there, and A and C got removed. This was the meaning of safely. That means correctly it is going to do or not. Safely means this, that whatever the task we want to do, that is done safely, means that is done correctly or not. Simply that. Okay. Safely means that what we want to achieve, that we are achieving or not. So here you can clearly see that we are not achieving. Okay. So the answer will be no. Okay. That why it's no, because it can lead to a unexpected behavior, and that we have seen with an example. Okay. Okay, guys, now give me the answer of this question. Can a for loop be used with a dictionary? Yes or no? So, guys, your question is, can a for loop be used with a dictionary? Okay, I can see yes, yes, yes. Okay, yeah. So, yes is the correct answer. Yes, we can use it. We have seen it also, okay, in our previous live sessions, that how to use it. Okay, now, guys, give me the answer of this question. Is else in a for loop executed only when the loop is broken with break? So, those who have not understood, The question was basically that we know that else can be used with the for loop and as well as with the while loop. So is the for loop means the else is executed when the break statement is used, okay, then the else is executed. Is this the thing? Yes or no? Okay, no, no, yes. So those who are saying no, it's correct. Okay, it runs only if the loop completes without break. Okay, so just the opposite is there. When the loop completes fully without the involvement of break statement, then the else's get executed. Okay. Okay. Now, guys, the next question is very tricky. So answer it carefully. Yes. So next question is it possible to use break and continue in the same loop? Yes or no? Okay. People are saying no. Why? Okay, there is yes, yes. Okay. So two yeses are also there. So guys, yes, we can use both break and continue together in the same loop. In one condition, we cannot use it. Okay. But if two conditional statements we are taking, so in one for loop, we can take two conditional statements and we can apply continue and break both. Okay. So answer will be yes. Okay. Yes, you are correct. Once we use break, so it will go out of the loop. But what if we'll use continue first? There are both the cases, no? No, no, no. No, no, no. Means if we'll first use break, so yes, it will go out of the loop. You are correct. But what if we'll first use continue and then break? So you have to take, means the answer is based on both the cases. Okay. So, oh, it's okay. Yeah. So yes, we can use both continue and break. It is possible to use it in a single for loop. Okay. Okay, guys. Your next question is now those who have done programming with for and while both, they can only answer this question. I think can a loop contain another loop of a different type? Example, for loop inside while loop. Is this the thing can be possible? Yes, yes, Subham. Then it will work both the things in the same loop if the condition satisfies. Now, the next question is that can a loop contain another loop of a different type? Means inside a for loop, let's say a while loop, or let's say inside a while loop, there is a for loop. Okay, yes, yes. So people are saying yes. Huh, yes, yes, okay. So they will be treated as a nested loop and they will be for while loop, the while condition means whatever the condition of while is there, initialization condition and incrementation, okay. And for loop, okay, there should be a sequence, or if there is not sequence also, then also there is range. So means it is possible. Yeah. Okay, so for this was the end of the quiz. Okay, now let's do what? Let's just now start with solving some programmatical problems. Okay, so okay, so we are good to go. So our first question is that we have to calculate the sum of numbers from 1 to 100. Okay, so someone has asked a question also in the starting of the live session that sir, how we can print numbers? Okay, it's the sum of the numbers. Okay, so that same thing at that time I have shown with 1 to 5 numbers. Here we have to add the numbers from 1 to 100. Okay, so calculate the sum of numbers from 1 to 100. Okay, so we will see for all the questions we can use it for a while both the loops. Okay, for some of the questions we can use both the loops, but we'll use the most convenient loop, okay, which is most easy for that problem. So it is asking to calculate the sum of numbers from 1 to 100. So first of all, remember that if it is saying that we have means if it is a question is like something there is range, okay, that here in this question there is range that from 1 to 100 it is mentioned. So now we can easily create sequences from 1 to 100 using the for loop and using the range functions. So we'll just directly do that. For I in range, starting with 1, going till 101, okay, it means 100. Now we'll do what? We'll take a variable called as total and we'll initialize it to 0. And in this total, we are going to do the sum. And now we'll take this total plus equals to I, and then we'll print this total. Very nice. So see, one person has directly given the code in the chat box. Very nice. Okay, and that is correct also. So we have to basically do, yeah, see, he has taken sum, I have taken total. So object names depends on us what we are going to take. But yes, the syntax is correct, everything is correct. So yeah, this is how you can add the numbers, okay, of a sequence. Okay, so guys, next question is uh, we have to print even numbers from 1 to 50. So even numbers from 1 to 50. Now this also we have seen already uh, for I in. Now again there is a range, okay, from 1 to 50. So and with the range function it will become more easy. Just in 2 lines you will do everything. So why not use? So now you can see, okay, it is a very big output. So 2, 4 and all the numbers, all the even numbers, okay. So this is the code, 2 lines of code. Okay, someone was asking to print a table, I guess. Yeah, so let's have that question. Okay, what we have to do, multiplication table of a number, of any number. Okay, so let's take n equals to 5 for I in range. And till what value? So mostly we just take till 10 only. In when we were child, so we have one book, one tables book. In that, all the from 1 to 20, all the tables were given from 1 to 10 limits. Okay, so yeah, that is the thing, and that is what we are going to create. So we want in data structure only. So print. So first of all, we want the table of 5, and we want till how many multiples? We want till 10 only. Okay, so for I in range 1 to 11. Now see the style how we are going to print it. Okay, first of all we'll print n, that is 5, that is a fixed value. Then we'll print the multiplication symbol, that is basically x. Okay, but we using x, it is not going to multiply. For multiplication we have to use asterisk, if you remember. And now x I, and then again one string equals, then again this, and now we'll just do n multiplied with I. Okay, let's see the output. And as you can see, so beautifully the table of 5 is printed. Okay, now if you want to ask it from the user, so what you can use, int. Inside the int you can take the input and give a prompt that enter the number for table. Okay, now let's say 19. So 19 into 2 equals 19, 19 into 2 equals 38, 19 into 3 equals 57, 19 into 4 equals 76, and so on. It will be continue. Okay, I can see Subham has replied in the chat. Okay, for this even one. Okay, if I, yeah, you can use that way also, Subham. If I modulus 2, you can use that if conditional statement also, or you can directly use the range function also. I have told you now that we are going to use only those programs which are more convenient and more easy for creating for that particular solution of that problem. Okay, so this is the more convenient way. So that's why I've used that this. If you want to use the conditional statements, you can use that also. Okay, it's upon you. So yeah, this is how you can create a table for any number, suppose 67. So a table for 67 will be created till 10 multiples. Okay, so yeah, this is the code. Let's move to the next question, that is to count vowels in a string. Okay, so our question is that we have to count vowels in a string. So how we are going to first, let's take the string. So I'll just take hello world. It's Python. Okay, it's Python everywhere. Okay, then what we have to do, then we have to now create a variable in which we are going to store the count of the vowels. Okay, so let's create a variable called as count, and initially in that count we are going to store 0. And then what we'll do, then we'll use the for loop. So for, because we have to find out from a string, and string is what, it is also a sequence of characters. So for ch stands for character. So for ch in, I'll do what, s dot lower. Okay, now why this lower? Because the it is case sensitive in nature. Okay, so uppercase and lowercase will be treated differently. So I don't want that. I want that uppercase and lowercase should all be treated equally. So that's why I'm just on the string only, on the string s, I'm directly applying the lower method. It will do what? It will by default um, lowercase all the uppercase words also. Okay, so everything will same now. Everything is in lower now, and then we'll check if ch in a e I o u. Okay, these are the 5 vowels a e I o u. So if any character is from this. Okay, if is this A, E, I, O, U. If any character is from these A, E, I, O, U is any one of them. So what we are going to do, we'll just do on the count plus equals 1. Okay, now we'll come out of the conditional statement, we'll come out of the loop and we'll print the count. So now total 9 vowels are there in this particular string hello world. It's Python everywhere. Okay. Okay. So I hope this counting vowels in a string is clear. Okay. Then there is using a loop how to reverse a string. Okay. So again, let's take a string for that. Let's take Python as a string. Okay. And what we will do, we will take a one more variable that is called as reverse, and the name is dependent on you guys what you want to take. And I'll keep a empty string there. Okay, now whatever the string will be, I'm going to do what I'm going to put in reverse only. Okay, so for ch in s, now what I'll do in this string reverse, I'll do like this ch. Okay, so whatever the character is coming, I'll add this again in this. Okay, and at the end I will print the reverse also. So for Python, we'll get the reverse of Python. Okay. So this is how you can do the reverse using the loops. Okay. And it is also very easy. But for doing the reverse of a string, there is slicing. Okay. So go with slicing. But because we are on loops topic, so this is the convenient way. Okay. Now, how about the next question is based on finding the factorial of a number. Okay. So find the factorial of a number. Now, how we will find the factorial of a number? So for that, first of all, we have to take the number with us. Okay. Then we'll do what? We'll take a variable fact and by default we'll initialize 1 to it. Okay. Because factorial is what? First of all, it is the continuous multiplication of the increment numbers till we reach till that until we reach to that number. Suppose if 5 is there, so it is the continuous multiplication of 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. Am I right? So if you will initialize fact with 0, so now understand the logic, guys. These are the things which you have to think of your own. Okay, that if you'll initialize the fact with 0, so 0 multiplied with any number is 0 only. So we don't want that. But 1 multiplied with any number is that number only. So we want, so that's why we have done fact equals to 1. Okay. Then for I in range, and now see how beautifully we are going to use range here. Okay. So range will start from 1 because if any number is there, it will start from 1 only. Okay. Yes, Subham, the approach you have given is a recursive approach. Okay. So we are not going to use the recursive approach here. We are going to use a direct approach here. Okay. So you're correct. Your code is also correct, but it is a recursive approach. Okay. And when you use recursive functions, so what happens? Uh, if you will take a very large number, so it might will one thing can happen, that is the stack can be full, and then you might get an erroneous output. Okay. So that can happen because recursive functions works on a stack. Okay. So what will happen, it will again call the function again and again, and stack will might get full if it is a very large number. Okay. So then now this approach, what we'll do, we'll just do n plus 1 in this, because if it is 5, so we know that range functions is exclusive, the end part is exclusive, that's why we have done n plus 1. If it is 5, it will be 6, so it will run till 5 only. Okay. Now what we'll do, fact multiply equals to I. Okay, means continuously in fact we'll multiply with I, and then we'll print fact. So by default we'll get 120. Okay, because factorial of 5 is 120, 6 is 720, and so on. You can check it over here. Again, you can use the input function and put the input function in integer, and then whatever value will write means it will ask from the user, and whatever the value will give, it will give you the factorial for that. Okay. Okay. uh I hope you have understood that factorial question, and it is one of a question that is most commonly asked. It is a very basic question, no? Factorials, Fibonacci series, how to print factorials and Fibonacci series. So these are the very basic questions which can be asked in an Python developer interview. Okay, means these are the questions which an interviewer can ask in the very starting, okay, of the interview. So yeah, okay, guys, our next question is that count digits, okay, in a number. So suppose if we have a number, so in that number, how many digits are there that we have to count, okay? So let's say if we have like this, okay, this many numbers, and we want to count that how many digits are present. So then what approach we can follow? So convert it into an str, okay, means convert it into an string. Then do what? On the count, do plus equals to 1, and then print the count. So total 13 digits are there. So initially it was an integer value. Now, maybe some other dynamic data type variable it can be, because I think it has crossed the limit of integers. Okay, but it is more of a integer values only. And what we have done, we have just converted into an string. Now, when we have converted into an string, so it becomes a sequence of character, and we can use a for loop on a sequence of in a sequence. So string is a sequence only, and then we can do count plus equals to 1. So for each character 1 will be added, and then we are printing the count. Okay, so this is also one way to count the digits. There is one more way, doing the floor division and then putting the remainders and then increasing the count. Okay, but that is for other programming languages, okay, in which this easy typecasting is not possible. Okay, then for that type of programming languages, that way is good. But if you are a Python developer, then this is a smart way. Okay, now guys, the next question is, uh let's print. What we have to do, we have to print all the items in a list. So that we already know. So but then also let's practice that also. It will be a revision only. So print all elements in a list. Let's say we have list with us for I in items, print I. Okay, and this is there how you can print it. Now this example we have seen all the time when we were learning about while loop and for loop. So yeah, okay, now there is very good question, that is, the question is that we have to calculate the average of numbers in a list. Okay, so calci the average of nums in a list. So let's create the list first. So I'll create a nums list. I'll store 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, and now I'll take a total, and for in nums what we can do. Okay, first in total we are going to add all the numbers. So total plus equals to num. Now we have all the total value. Okay, then we have to calculate the average. So average equals to, what is the, how to calculate the average? So total sum of the values by total how many elements are present, okay? How many numbers are present. So total we have already calculated it in total variable, and length we can find out by putting using the length function. So length function and put the nums inside it and then print average. So you will get the average of it. So the average of this is because 40, 30, 20 and 10 is basically 100. 100 divided by 4 is 25. So we have got 25 in a floating point value. Okay. Okay. Now guys, these were few questions based on basic levels. Now we'll switch to the intermediate level. Okay. So now we'll see questions based on intermediate real life cases, real life use cases. So now the level is increased little bit. So the first question in this is that how to check if a number is a prime number. If a number is a prime number. So first of all, for a number to be a prime number, the first thing is that it should be divisible by 1 and the number itself. Okay. There should be no other divisibility of that number other than 1 and the number itself. Okay. So that number is a prime number. So what will be the program for that? So first of all, we'll take the number. Let's say for 29, let's check for 29. Then we'll create a variable. So is prime equals to true. So we have created a variable is prime to check that if the number is a prime or not. And by default, we have set that number is prime to be true. Okay. Yeah. So by default, we have set this is prime to true. Now, whenever we will check for the remainder, if it will be false, then uh, wait a second, guys. Okay, I'll just write that. Yeah. I hope am I hope am I audible? Yeah. Just let me know, guys, if I'm audible. Okay. Just let me know, guys, if I'm audible. Okay. So now let's continue. So first of all, we have to take the number. the number which we want to check that it is prime or not, then we'll take a variable and we'll just by default make it true. Okay, and we'll make it false only if we'll find some other, okay, factor, means some other multiple of it, then only we'll are going to make it false, otherwise it will remain true only. Okay, so by default we are assuming that whatever the number we have taken, it is a prime number only, and we'll make it only false, means it is false only when we will found one other multiple of it other than one and the number itself. Okay, now let's write the code. So for I in range, and the range will start from 2, and on the number what we are going to do, we'll basically, okay, we'll do this and we'll add 1 to it. Now why we have added 1? Because the range function will, if we'll add 1, then range function will go till that only. Okay, so uh this is basically, you can say this part is the heart of this algorithm. Okay, so the loop is starting from 2 to the square root of n. Okay, so basically exponential operator 0.2 means that whatever the n is, suppose 29, so square root of 29 basically we are going, so it will go till the square root of 29. Okay, and then what we'll do, then the code is, the next lines of code is, now we will check for the multiples in it. So we'll divide the number, okay, using the modulus operator I, and we'll check that if it, the remainder gives us 0. If it is giving us 0, means if this condition is true, then make is prime equals to false, and then break. So when it is false, then no need to find some other values if you get one multiple. Okay, so if anything is found, means if any multiple is found, so then print what? First of all, print prime. Okay, print prime when is prime. Okay, so if is prime, it means if is prime is true, if the value is true, so prime will be printed. If this condition has become, means this condition is true and is prime has become false, so in the else case print not prime. Okay, not prime. So 29 is a prime number. Okay, so this is one way you can go for it. Okay, okay, then guys, the next question is to generate the Fibonacci series. Okay, or it is also called as the Fibonacci sequence. And till what? So up to n terms, means whatever the value of n will be, till what we have to generate the Fibonacci series. Now those who don't know what is Fibonacci series is, so Fibonacci series is basically first initial values of a Fibonacci sequence is 0 and 1. Okay, so for those who don't know what is Fibonacci series, so let me just introduce you to that. The initial values of Fibonacci series is 0 and 1, and the third value will be based on the previous two values, means the addition of 0 and 1 will be the next value. So 0 and 1, if we'll add it together, it is 1 only. So the next value in this sequence is 1. Then what is the next value? So then the next value will be dependent on the previous two values. So what is the previous two value? 1 and 1. So next value is 2. Then what is the next value? So it will be dependent on the previous two values. So 1, 2, so it will be 3. Then what will be the next value? So 3 plus 2, 5. Then what will be the next value? 8. Then what will be the next value? 13. Then what will be the next value? Uh, 21. Then so on, it will be continued. Okay, so it is the addition of previous two values. Okay, Now I hope you guys have understood it. What is Fibonacci sequence is. So we want Fibonacci sequence till 10 terms, okay? And A comma B equals to 0 comma 1. Yes, in Python we can initialize two variables with two values in a single line. And for underscore in range till n, print A and end like this, because we want in a horizontal line. Okay, we want the output in a horizontal line. And now you guys will see that how beautifully we are interchanging the values. Okay, A comma B equals to B comma A plus B. Okay, so it will generate 0 1 1 2 3 5 8 13 21 and 34. If we increase the terms, then it will print one more value. So it will print 55. If we increase it more, so it will be done like that only. Now what we are doing in this, I have told you that it is the sum of the previous two values. Okay, so main thing in this is this one, this line of code. Here we have initialized it A and B with 0 and 1. In this line, what we are doing here, we are just printing it in a horizontal way. Here what we are doing, we have to interchange the value. If you'll notice one thing, that A will become B. And what is B? So B is the sum of the next values. Okay, sum of the previous two values. So every time B is getting changed and A is getting replaced with B. So that's why we have put B in A, and in B we are doing the sum of A plus B. Okay, so this is the simple way in which you can generate the Fibonacci sequence till any n terms. Now we'll see the next program is based on to find the sum of digits. Okay, sum of digits of a number, of any number. So let's say if we have a number called as 1 2 3 4 5 like this. Okay, so how we can find the sum of it? So for finding the sum, what we can do, for digit in strn, okay, then what we can do means it is basically using loop. So for digit in strn, total plus equals to int, and then we'll convert the digit to integer format, and at the end we'll print the total. So the value is this. Okay, Pawan Kumar has sent the code. Okay, and he has put the code inside a function. Okay, so yes, you can do it. Here you are taking n directly. You can create a function and then you can perform the same task. Okay, that also you can do. So very good, Pawan. Yeah. So this is how you can do the sum. Okay. Okay, guys. There is one more question, that is one mathematical question for calculating the compound interest for each year. Okay. So your question is that we have to calculate the CI the compound interest for each year, okay, using loops. So first of all, we'll put a principal amount, we'll take some rate of interest as 5, and we'll take the time as 5 years, okay, and we'll do what? Now, for year in range starting from 1 going till t plus 1, so that it will go till 5, we'll take a amount variable, okay, and in the principal what we are going to do, this way we are going to perform our calculation. Okay, 1 plus, first of all we'll find what is the rate of interest for 1 year, and then on that we'll do what, we'll just, okay, we'll put the power of year, and means by that much amount it is increased, then year, print the original year, and let's say, and what you can do, you can now use one more function. Suppose if it will be a floating point value, so you can use the round function, okay, so round up the values which we have seen in the previous class, okay, and if it is a floating point value, so you can round the amount till two floating point figures, okay, and let's say, let's give it here, okay, 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 it is capital P, yeah. So the first year, this is your amount. For the second year, this is your amount. Third year, this. Fourth year, this, and fifth year, this. So year by year, how many, by how many values you are incrementing, that you can see here. Okay, you have to only change the principal, rate, and the time, and everything will be calculated. Okay. Okay. Now, guys, we have seen the for loop. Till now, we have seen for loops. All the questions were based on for loop. How we can generate it. Okay. Now, I'm thinking that let's do what? Let's just solve all the questions using while loop also, okay? And then it will be clearly visual for us, that it will be clearly seen to us. It will be, means we can clearly say that which loop is more easy to use, okay, in Python for particular solutions or for particular problems, finding the solutions of them. So now all the questions will be based on while loop. So I'll just write it over here so that it will be clear. Okay, so let's start with the very basic one, that was for printing numbers from 1 to 10. So, I equals to 1 while I less than equals to 10, print I and I plus equals 1. So it will generate numbers from 1 to 10. This is the code. Next question is that how to calculate the sum of numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, so we have seen uh, calculate nums from 1 to 100. Now the output will be same, but the way will be different. Total equals to 0 while I is less than equals to 100. Now if you'll see the difference, guys, when we are using the for loop, so it was for I in range starting from 1 going till 101. Here we are going till 100 only, okay? We are not going till 101. We are directly going till 100. I plus equals 1. So by 1 we are incrementing the I each time. and then total is there, and then the output will be same 50/50. Okay, means 5050. Okay, so the next question is print all even numbers from 1 to 15. Okay, so let's see if it is easy or it is more complex if you are doing it using the while loop in comparison to the for loop. In for loop we are doing it in just two lines. Okay, so we have to print even nums from 1 to 50. Okay, so we have to first initialize I with 2, then we have to use the while keyword which will be less than or equal to 50. We'll print I and will increment I by each time 2. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8 until 50 it will give us the even numbers. And now using the for loop it was a 2 lines of code, using while loop it is a 4 lines of code. Okay, but same task can be done using the while loop also. Okay, now the next question was for the for loop that we have to print digits of a number one by one. Okay, so let's say if the digit so print digits one by one. Let's say if n is equal to like this. Okay, so while n is greater than 0, what we can do, print n modulus with 10. This will do what? Each time it is going to remove one letter. Okay, and then what we'll do the floor division. Okay, equals to 10. So by default this is going to remove the value, and then that value will be done floor division with 10 so that we'll get the value like this. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 6, so each value is now we are getting it separately one by one. Now the next question was to count the number of digits in a to count the number of digits in a number. Okay, so count the number of in a number. Okay, so let's take some random number. Then we have to create the count variable, initialize 0 to 8. Same task which we have done in the for loop. Now the condition will be changed. Now we'll run the loop till n is greater than 0, till then only. So now our task is that we have to at the end, there should be 0 at the end. Then only the condition will be false. Okay. And now if you'll see, we're doing the same thing which we've done in the previous one, but we are just initializing the count here. Okay. And then we'll print the count. So 7 digits are particularly present in this number. Okay. Now, the next question was, now you can see the lines of code is getting increased in the while loop in comparison to the for loop. Okay. So for loop is far more convenient and far more optimized and modified in Python. Okay. While loop remains the same. Okay. Just like how the while loop is in different programming language, it is in Python also. It is quite the same. Now let's say how to reverse a number. Okay, that is our next question. To reverse a number. So in for loop we are just converting into a string and then we are adding it. Now here let's see what approach we'll follow. So first of all we'll create a reverse and we'll make it 0. Then what we'll do, again we'll start the loop and we'll start the loop till while n is greater than 0. That will be permanent here. Then in the reverse object which we have created, in that see how we are going to write the code. What are the expressions that we are going to put? Okay, modulus 10. So first the reverse will be multiply with 10, and then the n that the number is that will be that will be divided with 10 and the remainder will be stored, and that will be added in reverse. Okay, and at the end, now once a number is, just suppose if there is 4 and 4 is already removed, okay, so 4 has to be removed and add in the rev also. So to remove 4, this is there, and then just print rev. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, because suppose if we have done with 4, we have successfully added in rev, so we have to remove 4 from n also, no? Then only 3 will be the last digit, then we'll remove 3. So first we'll remove 4 and put it in rev, then we'll remove 3 and put it in rev, then 2, then 1, and when 1 is removed, so n will be 0, so condition will be false, and then this rev will be printed. So this is how the while loop works. Okay, now the very interesting and the basic question that can be asked in the interviews also, that how to create, how to find the factorial of a number using while loop. Okay, so for that, calculate the factorial using while loop. So for that, what we can do, n equals to 5, factorial equals to 1. Now I've explained why we are putting fact variable and initializing it to 1 in the for loop. That remains the same. Condition in the while loop will be n greater than 0, and then we'll do the quite same thing. We'll just, okay, only in the decrementation part, what we are doing, we are decrementing it by 1 each time. So n is 5, and we are checking that run the code when till n is greater than 0. Okay, so it will run till 1. Okay, then each time in fact, which is 1, we are multiplying it with n. So first initially fact is 1, will be multiplied with 5, so it will remain 5. Then n will be decremented by 1. So now 4 is greater than 0. Fact is 5, it will be multiplied with 4, it will become 20. Then it will be multiplied with 3, it will become 60. Then it will be multiplied with 2, it will become 120. Then it will multiply with 1 again, so it will 1 multiply with 120 is 120 only, then it will be 0, and then condition will be false. Print fact now, so we'll get 120. Okay, one new question that was not in the for loop but that is there in the while loop. What we have to do, we have to display a countdown. Okay, we have to display a countdown from 10 to 1. Okay, now this can be done using that also, for loop also this can be done, and using this also it can be done. In for loop we have to apply the range opposite. We have to start it from the 10 and go till the end part. Okay, suppose if you have to go to 1, we have to write there 0, and in the step we have to mention -1. Now in the while loop we have to go, we have to initialize the n with the value, then n greater than 0, print n, and then decrement n by 1 each time. So 1. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So the next question is that we have to find the sum of the digits using while loop. So n equals to 4, 5, 6. Okay. Then we'll take the total. Then again, while we'll go till n greater than 0, then there is total plus equals n modulus 10. Okay. This will do what? In the total, first of all, what will be the remainder means, because the precedence of modulus operator is more than the plus equals. Okay, the plus operator. So first the modulus operator will do its work. So n modulus 10, it will give you what? It will give you 6. Okay, and 6 will be added in total. Then after adding 6 in total, we have to remove 6 also. So for removing 6, we will do the floor division with n each time. Okay, and then we'll print total. So 6, 5, 11, and 4, 15. So this is there. Now let's see the last question for today. Okay, and then we'll continue with the rest of questions in the next class. That is infinite loop with break on condition. Okay, so what we'll do, we have to create an infinite loop, but with a break statement, and there will be a condition. Okay, so actually we have to know, means we have to use a break condition. Okay, so while I equals to 1, I equals to 1, what we'll do, while true. Now this time we are not executing with I less than or greater than. While true means while loop is now an infinite loop, and we will print I. Then we'll check for a condition. If I is equal to 5, then do what? Then use break. But one second, I will remain always 1. So then the incrementation part will come. We have to increment I also by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when it is 5, so it will break. Now these were all the basic questions using the while loop. Now we'll continue with the advanced questions of for loop and intermediate and advanced questions of while loop in the next live session. Okay. So anyone have any problem in any of these questions or anywhere in for loop and while loop, any problem, can ask questions now. Okay. And if you want to practice, and guys, I want you guys one more thing. Definitely have to go back and rewatch the video. Thank you. Uh, okay, Nicholas. I think that you have joined the live session late because of that. Okay. Okay, go and rewatch the video again. Then it will be more clear. I have explained each and every topic. Okay. And guys, means just like Nicholas, if you want to join the live session at the time, so first we just post in this platform. I have given you the link. Just go and follow us on this platform. Okay. So what will happen whenever I'm going to be live on any topic in Python? Okay, so I first of all update in this platform only. Okay, so you can go and follow this follow up here for future updates on the live sessions. Okay, so I hope everything is clear and you guys are learning something. Okay, so thank you for joining in this live session. Okay, thank you everyone. I hope you guys are learning. Okay, and you're feeling that Python is easy language. Okay, a little bit logics are difficult, but other than that, everything is easy. So it's the time now. So thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned up. We'll see you in the next live session. Till then, bye. Take care.